Hello to all of you, my beautiful community of Nonprofit Whispers. I am so excited that you are still here with us. Thank you so much for continuously watching our program here on the YouTube channel. Please make sure that you subscribe and that you share this with as many people as you know that are in the nonprofit sector, that are sharing in the beautiful work that we're doing here every single day across communities and cities around the world. I am very excited about this particular episode because for Jim and myself, this is something that's very close to our hearts, and it's really wanting to unpack a little bit regarding the startup of a nonprofit and really addressing those individuals that are more of like a one woman, one man show. You are a one person team that is pretty much running the whole show in your nonprofit sector. And I don't know about you, but for me, that was my story for a very, very, very long time. And I think most people might see this channel, might hear about us, Jim and myself, that have been working in this nonprofit sector for over 50 years and think, oh yes, like they've been working for these super large organizations and been doing this work for so long. And the truth is, yes, that's true. And we have wonderful teams and we work for global, massive organizations. Yes, that is true. However, we understand what it is to really lead things by yourself and on your own for decades. Like it takes very, very long time when you're building something from scratch. And so this episode is to encourage you. I want you to feel full by the end of this and inspired and motivated, and encourage you to not give up. So if you're feeling like that right now, especially in light of COVID and all that has gone on in this past year, and you may be feeling like, oh, that was the last hit that I could take, this episode is for you. We're going to give you some tools that you can use to equip you to better get involved and engaged, and know what kind of a team is necessary to build and how you can go about that in order to surround yourself with the kind of people that you're going to need to succeed, not just for yourself, but for your nonprofit. Because if you're not good, that nonprofit is not going to be good. So again, myself, I'm your host, Erika Gerena. Jim Dempsey is my co-host, and we can't wait to share our secrets with you today. So here we go. Welcome back, friends. Erika and Jim here, back at the Nonprofit Whisperer. And today, this show is dedicated to all of our wonderful friends who have started and launched nonprofit organizations, and you are still a team of one. So either you are one person and have just launched, you are one person carrying the dream and are contemplating whether to fully launch or not, or you are one person who has been carrying this dream for decades. This episode is for you. And so Jim and I are thrilled to share a couple of secrets with you. And so let's get started. So Jim, tell us a little bit about when we were wanting to kind of unpack this episode. You said to me, hey, Erika, a few things that I would like to tell folks like this are, here are some of the first positions that I believe are essential in hiring for someone who is just getting started and is a team of one. What are some of those key roles that people think, these are the first few things I need to hire for, versus the realities of what people actually need to hire?
One of the first things that I would look for, because oftentimes when you are a one-person shop doing everything yourself, there's an old term, you're chief cook and bottle washer, and you are doing everything from typing your own letters to answering the phone to filing to making sure that you're putting things into QuickBooks and making sure that, the income, your handwriting receipts. There's just so many things that I've seen leaders take a step back and say, this is not why I started this organization. I'm doing 90% of the things that have nothing to do with the heart and passion of why I did it. They're administrative functions.
Yeah.
So one of the first things that I have found in talking with small leaders that's really revolutionized what they've done is to bring on an administrative person who can take the things that are the real burdens. And it might take a few hours, days, weeks, months, maybe even to assess what are your skills, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and hire to your weaknesses those things, those tasks that you're not good at, those tasks that you despise, that you don't want to be doing. You want to look at trying to hire to some of those things. Those tasks, though, that you know have to be done. If you don't like keeping track of finances or doing bookkeeping or doing accounting, hire someone who can bring that on. And you don't need to bring someone on in a full-time capacity. There are a lot of individuals that would love and could give you 2-3 hours a week, or even a couple hours, or even an hour a night. They put the kids to bed, and they can give you a few hours at the end of the day to do bookkeeping for you, or keep track of your records, or even break away at a lunch hour and help do some filing, or start early in the morning, arrive at 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning in your office, do the filing, so that when you arrive at 8 or 9 o'clock, your filing is done for you, and the mail has been gone through. There's a lot of things that an administrative person can do, and like I said, could be a volunteer, could be part-time, could be full-time. Those individuals would make a huge difference. And then I'd really look at, if you are not doing your finances yourself, or making sure that your finances are done properly, that's a critical error, and you could be setting yourself up for disaster if you don't have the proper financial procedures and plans in place for you. You've got to really make sure that you have someone, either a board member who's a treasurer, or someone who understands finances and accounting, that can come in and help set up your books. That maybe all they're doing is setting up your books for the beginning, and then you take it from there. But making sure, something as simple as downloading QuickBooks for nonprofits. Quicken has done a wonderful job for home finance, for small business. They also have some great software for nonprofit organizations. So I would really look at doing that. And if you've used Quicken in the past, or QuickBooks, it's very user friendly, and doing it for nonprofits. So get someone to help you set up those kinds of things, and make sure that you're prepared there. And I would also look at, is there a program manager? And once again, doesn't have to be someone who's full-time, can be a part-time or volunteer, but someone to help run your programs and projects that are vital to the success of your organization. Those are some of the areas where I would start with initially, Erika.
I think in the beginning, you think you could take on just so much, and you take on all of these things. And the reason why is because you're still trying to figure out, like, what is your actual thing, like
Right.
what's your it. And I think you do start off really passionate about a thing, but then when you actually start to go into it, you realize that it has all these other pieces. For example, if I had a heart for the homeless, it's like, oh, I just want to help the homeless. Well, you don't realize that there's all of these other elements attached to the community that you need to learn. You need to learn all about what parts of serving that community? Is it homeless families? Is it homeless working families? Is it homeless youth coming out of foster care that are now ages 18 to 21? There's organizations that focus just on that demographic, or those veterans with disabilities, or there's so many different individuals. And then it's saying, I remember working with a client that said, the homelessness is the least of their problems, Erika. And then also working with an organization that said, it's the homelessness comes as a result of the lack of relationships, Erika. It stops as a result of the lack of relationships, not so much the lack of resources. And it really is such an education. It's a process of educating yourself on the work that you actually want to do and leaning into that. And so that process, and as a one woman shop of really educating yourself, really doing the research and learning about the work that it is that you want to do, that's beginning to you begin to test. So you start to try some things, and you start to say yes to some things and some opportunities. And then as you go in deeper, you start to learn, oh, wait, I'm actually not that great at that. I don't need to do that. I need to stay away from that, or for Jim to say, Erika, really put that down. Why are you doing 25? Stop doing that. And so throughout my years, I've had to learn to say, okay, try to kind of get away from doing that kind of busyness and that busy work so much. But in that, it's helped me to kind of say, what really helps me come to life? Because some of these projects I would say yes to because I'd feel so good in that moment. And then once I would start doing it, I would feel heavier and heavier and heavier. So I would say pay attention to how even you feel during the process of the work that it is that you're doing. Because some of those things are also indicators. Not to say that every day is a good day and that means give up, but it's just really paying attention to what that is for sure. And I am an contracting. I think people just kind of dump into things all the time, and it's contract. There's so many subcontract the writers, subcontract, editor, subcontract, a graphic designer, a finance person, there's a development person. You don't have to fully commit and hire full-time to anymore. So.
Right. Well, Erika, one of the things that I think you are very good at is you found good mentors over your life. And I really encourage any one person operation to find a mentor, someone who's been further down the road than you. And that could be, somebody who just has 2 more staff than you have. It could be somebody who's got a $1.5 million organization, but even, somebody who's got twice the income of you and twice the staff, and find out, take them to lunch a few times and find out what did you learn? What were some of your biggest lessons that you learn? I think you've been really good at that. Erika, what have you learned most from finding mentors and learning from good mentors over the years?
It's important for me to communicate that I've also been turned down by folks. In my first, my former, in the beginning years, when I was starting, I had you and I had several others, but I also had people that I was so eager because, you all spoiled me. And I just thought that meant everybody wanted to help. Right. So then I thought that when the next time I saw someone else, that was similar, I thought, oh, they would probably want to help me too. And so as I would approach them and I would say, hey, I called them and said, oh, I would love to learn from you and I'd love to glean from you. And I just loved how you presented and how you shared. And the person I will never forget said to me, so let me get this straight. So, which is never a good starting.
Right. A good start. Never a good start.
I immediately was like, oh gosh, on the phone. And they were like, so let me get this straight. You want me to take everything that I know and give it and share it with you for free, free of charge for your benefit. And I was like, yes. They were like, yeah, no, I'm not interested in that. And I just remember my heart broke and I was so embarrassed. And I was just devastated. I'm like, why would you not want to help me? Like, I was like admiring you. I was so heartbroken. So I want to encourage you though, like not to give up. And I think
Right.
like you still have to ask, and I know a lot of you might be feeling like that, like I don't have a mentor, like who should I ask? I want to tell you that I had those experiences as well. I had people turn me down as well, but
Mm,
that didn't stop me. I think you continue to knock on other doors. I didn't even have like what is now like social media and all of that. I just was going based off of people that I was watching in trainings that I was attending, and I would just be bold and like ask people like after they would present, like, hey, can I like learn from you? But now you have social media and you can email people and you really have access to the world. And so you
yeah,
can even go as far as to asking people to be mentors in another country, which is amazing. Like I encourage you to
right.
do that. Learn from people in other states and other cities that they don't even have to be in your same city or even in your same line of work. Go cross sectors and ask people and learn
Mm,
from them. And so I didn't have that, but I want to encourage you to do that, and don't give up asking. Like keep asking. It helped me tremendously, and I still ask till this day. And I'm deathly afraid and always intimidated because but I've just learned to do big ask. I'm not afraid anymore. And I'm okay if people turn me down, and I don't take it personal. And I'm just like, okay, God, then that's not for me. That's okay. And I'll just ask the next person. But don't get discouraged because, we all need somebody. And it's a commitment now that I have made. Now I can't say yes to everybody, so don't start emailing me now. Like not everybody, but it's a commitment that I have made. I want to encourage people to please like find mentors like as much as possible. So
Oh, yeah. I think that's important. It really is. And like I said, surround yourself with good people, surround yourself with like-minded people, surround yourself with positive people. I think in our world, we have too many negative people, so many people telling you you can't do something, that you need to start surrounding yourself with a few people that tell you you can. Now, again, there's got to be some reality sprinkled in there as well too, that you don't want people telling you that you can double your income every year. That doesn't always happen. But finding that balance of somebody who can encourage you, but also be very honest with you, that's valuable. That's like gold. Finding that person.
yeah, and I think mental health, like making sure that you do that as a person that is a team of one. Man, I so wish that somebody would have like told me that
Mm,
sooner, like because
yeah.
it's so exhausting and you can be so
Yes.
hard on yourself and you are constantly setting the bar higher and higher and higher. And look, failure doesn't mean like shut down and give up for forever, like I know Jim always tells me I always discourage folks to just like pull the plug, like let it go, like. But at the end of the day, I do. If this is something that you really know that you're supposed to be doing, get around, like Jim says, like get around other people, get around other like-minded people who are like who are also doing startups.
Mm,
I think that's something that the tech world does beautifully, is that they build these clusters of other individuals that are doing startups. Well, in the nonprofit world, you got to find other people that are starting nonprofits. Like try to find community among those who are starting other great causes as
mm,
and it's not that you have to partner businesses, but just get into a room together, ideate a little, create a little bit.
mhm.
Believe it or not, there are groups like that exist. I have friends that do that all the time. The name doesn't come to mind right now, but there are all these different nonprofits from around the world that they come together every now and then, and all they do is just kind of build together. There's all these communities in different major cities that just come together every now and then and just have like these working groups, because they understand that because they're one man show or one women show, they understand that they can't come up with all the creative ideas themselves. So they come together like 4 times a year, and they kind of help one another, just bounce ideas off one another. And I thought that that's pretty brilliant. And so
Oh, yeah.
you don't have to do anything alone anymore. You really don't.
Right, right. Well, and find people of like-mindedness. I think you were saying that, but same affinity as yours. I've got two dear friends on opposite ends of the country, one in Des Moines, Iowa, one in Fairfax, Virginia. They both do human trafficking. They help to prevent human trafficking, and they're in a group of 5 other organizations that are battling human trafficking, and they just talk with each other. They've got the same challenges, they've got the same frustrations, the same likes and dislikes, and just getting on the phone with each other and encouraging each other and saying, we can do this. This is not easy. Press on. Keep going forward. And it's not like, you've got somebody who works with the homeless and then others who work for a soup kitchen. I mean, maybe, or works for human trafficking. Maybe there's some areas of like together, but if you can find birds of a feather, people that have the same experiences as you, that just really, really can encourage you and help you quite a bit. There's something refreshing about getting together with people that think like you think, because we're always, especially in nonprofit world, we're always going to find somebody that doesn't think like us and can be very negative. So find somebody who does think like us, and that can encourage us to just get through one more day sometimes.
Yeah, and so I want to close with this kind of final thought, is that not everything is meant to be humongous and explosive. Like, just you could be a simple, you could have come up with a simple idea of starting a nonprofit to, knit gloves and scarves and hats for the homeless every winter for the rest of your life, and do that for 50 to 100 homeless people until the day you die, and you would have made such a difference in those people's lives. And it is enough. It doesn't have to be millions and hundreds of thousands. It's the assignment and the beautiful work that fulfills the purpose that you were supposed to do. That's what it's about. It's, don't let anyone tell you that it has to be big. I think we live in a world where you have all these marketing schemes and all these weird kinds of things that people are always selling to you on social media, and all these things that it's saying, like, these dreams, they have to be huge and they have to be national and they have to be international, and they don't. They really, really don't. Whatever that dream is and that desire that you have in your heart, however small, however big it is, just start it and take it one day at a time, and follow these very simple, practical steps that we're sharing with you, and test it out and follow it and be consistent and be clear and follow through and build upon that. And then you will see the fruit of it, of your hard work, and you will begin to see people's lives impacted as a result of it. And so I just want to encourage you, Jim, and I want to encourage you on this journey. We are those people. We are those people. We are you, we are you doing the small, simple things consistently over decades. And we will still be you decades from now doing it, and we won't always get to see the people's lives whom we've been able to help or not help, or who knows, discourage, encourage, who knows. But at the end of the day, what we do want to know is that we've been obedient with what we've been, asked to do, and to be able to fulfill our purpose by being able to share what we know with others. And so we hope that that's been helpful for you today. So until next time, bye.